AMP Studios, brought to you by Old Mutual.
And welcome to a very special Amped Icon Here conversation. It's brought to you by Old Mutual. And today, the old meets the new. Because in order to know where you're going, it's very important to know where you come from. Which is why we're joined by the legendary Abigail Kubeka as well as Zoë Modiga. I hope you're ready for a very emotional and passionate conversation, which I really liked. And by the way, we shot this during lockdown, so there's no interview. And the highlight for me of the whole entire series has to be the performance at the end. It was really, really amazing. So make sure you don't miss out. Because as much as it's great to learn from legends, I think our legends need to learn from our current stars. As usual, we're coming at you live from AMP Studios in Newtown Junction Mall. And whether you're a podcaster, a YouTuber, an artist, you're always welcome any time of the week to come and utilize our world-class facilities. Just visit ampstudios.co.za and you can be a part of the AMP family and have access to these wonderful facilities, whether you need a studio, Wi-Fi, video editing, a boardroom, a stage, it is all here for you. So make sure you visit ampstudios.co.za.
I'm in a space right now as a young artist where I'm really looking at the beginning to figure out what purpose and what role I'm supposed to play empilweni yami. And ngiyabona ukuthi I have to go back to childhood. I have to go back to ugogo nomkhulu, izinto esakhuliswa sifundiswa and all of that kind of thing. How much of where you come from in your childhood has informed lento esikwazi as manje as umam Abigail?
Mntanami uqala kahle ke mawuqala lapho. Ngoba kuthiwa indlela ebuzwa kwabaphambili. Kodwa before ungena kule ndlela ufuna ucele kwabakini. Because lezi zinto lezi asizenzeli. Indaba yokuqala, it is a God-given talent. In music, acting, art is very spiritual. It comes from within yourself. And then kube kuwe ke ukuthi uyidirector kanjani uyisa kuphi. And you have to be versatile in order to survive. Ungabheki nje into eyodwa ngoba kunzima mntanami. Kunzima. And you guys nibusisiwe because nina kini all the doors and windows are open. Kunezikolo niyafundiswa kuna yonke into. Thina zazingekho zonke lezo zinto. We were driven by passion nothando, much against our parents. Mina abazali bami bengafuni inhlobo ukuthi ngingene kule industry. Uyazi uma uthola umntwana, you always have dreams for that child.
Yes.
Wena mzali. That's sometimes the mistake we parents do. We plan our children's lives, forgetting that nabo banempilo zabo, nengqondo zabo. Ngangifuna babefuna ukuthi ngibe unesi, budokotela, hey nangumntanethu wama epilepsy ufake ingube emhlophe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Kanti mina lento la ngaphakathi kimi. Ngiba unesi, ngifuna ukuba unesi ngenye indlela. Bona they didn't understand ukuthi ukucula nabo ubunesi. Because music heals. I healed people. I educated people. Ngumculo. So konke lokho ubudokotela, ubunesi. But ngenye indlela. Okay. Bawuthukuthela kabi. Miriam had to go to my family, to my mom and dad. Ayocela permission.
Oh, bakithi.
Ukuthi ngicule naye. Okay. Bavuma ke. Ngangena emculweni. Ngithe bangiqede esikolweni. Ngangena emculweni. And ukungena kulomculo uMiriam azangazi. I was introduced to uMiriam by a mutual friend, uVandile Ballo. Oh. Bless his soul. Wang introduced wathi, "Hey Miriam, there's a little girl ngifuna ukuthi umusa ukuthi ucula kanjani. Miriam then had a group called the Skylarks, a female group called the Skylarks.
Yes.
Uke wezwa ngabo?
Yebo, ngike ngezwa ngabo.
Uyazi mntanami, that time it was an era of girl groups. There were a lot of girl groups. Why? Because of America. Again, you know, in the industry yethu thina ukuze sibe khona siqhube, we were inspired by the Americans. You know, umuntu omnyama in the 60s, 70s, we very much identified with the Americans because sabona impilo zethu zifana nezabo. The struggles, the hardships, and yonke loo nto leyo. And we saw how they rose above all that. You know, they fought not necessarily with guns, but with what they were doing. You know, because it doesn't need to fight somebody. You can use anything. And that's what they did on Martin Luther King. So these girl groups with Diana Ross, the Supremes and all that.
Yes.
So Miriam had the Skylarks. We were one of the best. Hugh in his book, and they were the best dressed ladies during that time.
And you still continue to get your legacy, manje, because you are draped in sparkles. You carry so much class and grace and style.
Thank you, my baby. It's in me. It's the only way I know. I know of no other. Kukhona ama Skylarks. Kukhona ama Dark City Sisters. Joyce Mohatusi.
Yes.
Kukhona intombi zesimanje manje. Kukhona uBetty Khoza. Wake wezwa ngoBetty Khoza, she was from Durban.
Yes,
What a singer. There's a song of hers, njalo man, irepertoire lami likhona. Ethi ngenzeni, ngenzeni. Mntakwethu ngithi ngiqolele mangingoni. You know, zonke lezo zinto. Our songs carried messages. You know. Dorothy abesiyangena ngama-political messages wakhe amaculo.
Adingekayo futhi now.
I'm Evergreen. Enye into emnandi, our music never dies. It never fades. Evergreen. It's there, it was, and it is still here, and very relevant. Umculo namhlanje yebo, muhle. It's good. Times have changed. We are in a different century now. It's good. Change is good. But let's not lose education. Imfundiso. Enhle. Ngoba amaningi anemfundiso embi. And yazi ukuthi abantu tend to like bad things. I don't know why. Maybe it's human nature.
Yebo. Sinokuyithandela izinto ebheke eceleni.
I know. You know. And but it will come right.
Yes.
When abantwana bami inhla namhlanje, I think I told her direction. With us, when growing up, every parent, every elder was your parent.
Absolutely, ma.
Esikolweni, your teacher was your parent. Esontweni, umfundisi was your parent. Nawe umuntu omdala, wonke umntwana, every child was your child, being an adult. You could reprimand or slap me or do anything. They had the right to do that. They were allowed. Namhlanje, yaboshisa. You go to jail. My word, what does this world become? What is, and it's so sad, it's because it's happening here in Metronet. We're from there, and here we are here, and this is what we're seeing.
And you can see our values that came from being able to recognize abanye abantu abazali babo as your parents.
Yes.
Ukuthi njengomuntu okhulele Pietermaritzburg, I'm raised by an entire community.
Yes.
Ugogo wa next door, ugogo wami. Ingane yasekhaya next door, ingane yasekhaya manje. And it's true that those values are lost in today's world.
Nobody went hungry. Because umntana mayilambile would come into my house and ngimnika ukudla la adle. Alale mayifuna ukulala. there were no street kids during our era. Street kids? What for? Ukhona umntwana wazalelwa estradini.
Akekho man.
Kodwa namhlanje bakhona abantwana abahlala estradini. Bavelaphi labantwana? Bavelaphi? Where were they? They were not there during that time. Because umzali ebengathatha umfake endlini. I think the world has gone astray. We lost. Nabantu abadala, we are hopeless. We don't have power anymore. Children have taken over. They have taken over. Kanjani? Education, you know, Tina, education was not just a classroom. It was the world. The world was our classroom. Impilo yonke. We walked with our eyes and minds open all the time. Maybe it was the struggle that we were in. Sasihlupheka phela amabhuna esihlukumeza. Ayesibulala. They were really trying to destroy and kill us. If they could, ngabe basithelela i-Retex or whatever. This COVID-19, I'm sure if I could at that time, they could have spread it even more to kill us. But because every child is God's child. Every human being is God's child. Azange yenzeke impilo yawo. And then the politicians were there. And we were there. The educators were there. Everybody was there. They couldn't have won the battle. They couldn't have won the battle. And we didn't do it. Okay, a lot of our brothers, children, and sisters perished, sacrificed their lives. But abakhona, they continued. You know, we had those, our mama Sisulu, you know, Odibrain, marching to the union buildings. We face that you know, because with the power,
yeah. You know, lento katuishoma about American and Southern African changes being made politically. Nokuthi into kade niyifunda beniyibona America nithi wow, these people, they're able to overcome so many things and we're able to do the same. I think nanamhlanje siyabona with the Black Lives Matter movement happening there and the femicides and the gender-based violence enzakala la ukuthi there's a lot of interchanging conversations. Siyabona nabantu abamnyama bangaphesheya bangalena bafuna ushintsho and nathi ngalana sifuna ushintsho. And yazi ngicabanga ukuthi ma, as a young person, I know ukuthi the world has become something that is probably very weird to understand from your perspective. But ngicabanga ukuthi there's so many young people like myself who see the value of the role that you played and the doors that you were able to open and the way that you were able to lead us into where we are now. Because there would not be Zoë Modiga if there wasn't Abigail Kubeka. And I think that's the important thing. So even today, having this conversation, we get to look into your lens and the way of growing up. Ngoba nathi masikhuliswa kwakuthiwa vele ukuthi umzali ophumalana is your you know, is your parent. A child that is from a different family next door. Sasikhuliswa sonke. And it's so interesting and so beautiful to hear ukuthi it really is ama value systems enakhuliswa ngawo nathi sakhuliswa ngawo. But siyabona ukuthi mhlambe ingane zethu thina might have to kind of reinvest on what that looks like because it's not the same thing. But I think part of being here today, ufunda from your perspective and to see ukuthi kwakunjani ngempela nokuthi nayinqoba kanjani with a lot less opportunities than we had. Because for me, ngangumuntu othanda umculo. Ngakhule eMaritzburg, next door bebedlala umculo nje, front opposite bebedlala umculo nje. That was the first experience of umculo. And I realized, wow, music is so impactful. And saskula slalela nina and your generation and your peers and the beautiful stories that you had. And we were listening to all this different kind of music. And leonto yangibona ngithola ama opportunities enasivulela nina to be able to study, you know, to study music, classical and jazz music. But I always had a grievance because ngabona ukuthi a lot of our textbooks why Abomam Abigail? Why are they not in those
Yeah.
textbooks, you know?
Yeah.
Or mhlampe if they were there, kwaku ne chapter encane. So as a person who has invested in music education, to be able to sit in front of you and to receive all that you have to share firsthand is so powerful, because that's all I ever wanted. All I ever wanted was to see umuntu ofana nami and to recognize that there's so much beauty in that.
Well, there is. Honey, you
And,
know,
yeah.
we ran this marathon, and you guys are just walking, you know, and getting it all. It is really so sad, because manje, when we are supposed to be celebrating, and you guys just being glorified, isasekhona. When are people going to wake up
Yeah.
and see us as important, valuable people,
Yes.
assets in this country, in the economy of this country?
Yes.
When? You know, when it happened during the time yamabhunu, okay, kwakukhona ukuthi, anyway, amabhunu, you know, akunandaba. Kubuhlungu kodwa they are not amabhunu, so there's nothing we can do.
Yebo.
But uma yenzeka manje futhi kuabantu bakithi, then you say, okay, am I in the wrong world? What is happening? Okay. Siyabonga. Kukhona okwenziwayo. But nalo okwenzayo akatholi i-backup ayidingayo. Akayitholi. So yiloko okwenza ukuthi izinto zisabuyele emuva, zisabambekile, you know. Kodwa there is light in the tunnel. There is light. Kuyatshengisa ukuthi so kuyakhanya kancane. Manje sekukini bantwana bethu to take this up. Sininikile amabhaythi wena ngithi. Wathatheni. Namatorch and light. Nikhanyise and go forward. But with discipline. Nayo nje into. Discipline. Inhlonipho. Kukhulunywa ngobuntu, ubuntu. Abantu abazi ukuthi yini ubuntu.
Yebo.
Yini?
Yebo.
Practice ubuntu qala before ukhuluma ngobuntu. Practice it first. Uzobona. Kuzothi nje vele ukuthi nge yonke into. Uyabona sometimes ngihlale ngibheke emuva ngithi ya le. Bese ngibheka la eduzane. Ngithi yeah. Now it's here. Okay. I say, oh. Ngafika lapha. Ngabe ngiyafika. Kube ngathi khona umuntu othi yes. You can reach there. These children can reach there. But how do they do it?
Yes.
Wena ngokwakho uyabona ubugebengu, exploitation, ne-abuse. Ikhona iningi. Ibeke ikhona yonke indawo. Masingathi ikhona kwi-industry yonke. Ikhona yonke indawo, and iyona nto ebulala umphakathi. Iyona into ebulala umhlaba. Exploitation. If ngalungisa lapha kuzolunga.
Kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi intsha inenkani, yes.
I know.
And as much as so many things are lost on us, we know the blood that we come from. We know the great people that we come from. And into engiyibonayo ngabantu abasha manje ukuthi sinenkani and khona ushintsho silubonayo that needs to happen. And we are taking up those spaces that you set for us, and we are occupying them. We are taking up the spaces that you set for us, and we are calling systems to place. We are saying to abantu abasiholayo, abantu abangaphezu kwethu ukuthi these are systems that have been put in place and they must change. Uthola ukuthi inkinga eningi that we have now, azihlukanga kangako nenkinga ebeninazo, even though there were so many beautiful aspects that are now open to us, and an entire world that is now open to us because you existed, you know? So I think it's just such a powerful thing to realize and to step into. But I wanted to ask you, ma'am, but this is one of the most fascinating things I think about you personally. I went to the National School of the Arts, not very far from where we are right now. And in National School of the Arts, you know, got to sing classical music, got to act in plays, got to be exposed to different ways of the art world. And if there's one thing I've realized about you, Ma, is that you have occupied so many spaces. When are movies, when are TV, when are stage, like how did you get into that space, and what has it been to you? Has it been kind to you? Has it been beautiful? What stories can you tell us about what that was like, or what that continues to be? Ngobusayenza namanje.
That's entertainment. That's being an entertainer. That's
Yes.
the definition of entertainer.
Aha.
Yes. You've got to be versatile. If you've got a gift, yomculo akusumculo kuphela kusho ukuthi you're gifted, you're an entertainer. Uyisithunywa yonke into entertain abantu. Mina, I did modeling. I was in the beauty thing, you know, my pageants, acting, singing, dancing, because yonke lento ngiphiwe. It was just for me to develop it and put it out there and do it, which was not difficult. It's not difficult. Uyabona into enabantu kakhulu, we always want to be spoon-fed, or uhlale njena, sometimes ubuvila, laziness, and then I'm a singer, mina. We uzolamba.
Ngempela yazi.
Uzolamba. You're a singer. You'll end up singing in the shower.
So you have to diversify.
You have to diverse. Uyazi khona manje obheka inhlanhla. Khona manje sekukhona ama companies asponsorize Old Mutual and the other companies. Ayingekho thina kithi lento le. Ayingekho. You would knock and kick doors and just do ume ngekhanda inyawo sibheke phezulu bakubuke nje but oh wenzani lo muntu, that's a won't work. We were classified as won't workers, loafers. Nasemabhasini ethu kubhala ukuthi loafer. Ifika kanjani lonto la? Ifika kanjani? Ulova? Awusulova.
Kanjani?
Because nobody was nobody was prepared to look into us and just find out good. Marianile, what are these people doing? What stuff are they made of? You know? Benzani, bati benzani. Nobody was prepared to listen to us. Better. Why? Because bati uneducated. But because the key thing was education.
Yes.
And very few of our artists then were educated. Very, very few. Abaningi, when they discovered that they had the talent, umuntu abesuyayeka isikolo kusandard 6 noma kusandard 1 abesethi ngiyacula mina ngiyakwazi ukucula uyabona, and think they're going to make a living. Can't you? No. Education first and then your talent. Because the talent needs that. That's the basic, the education. So iloko nje mntana.
Hey, but I must say, Mamina, I feel like a degree am ngithola la kule conversation.
Cool. The world is your university.
Yes.
Izinto eziningi uzithola la ngaphandle mntana. Mawungavula ingqondo yakho to that, baby, you'll live forever, like me.
Exactly. Bengifuna ukubuza even about lento eyo creator, you know, the whole thing of working alongside people in the industry. You've been doing it for so many years, and you've created such longevity in your craft, ma. You have created such a beautiful legacy and so much longevity. For umuntu ofana nami manje, because I've just released a sophomore album. That's only the second one. I've been taught within the music, but I would like to learn ama tips apuma from when, as a seasoned entertainer, that you know, you should be loved and respected for. What are the tips that you would give me to have that longevity as a young creator, to have that longevity as a singer, as a songwriter that you are as well, as a person, an actress, umuntu who has operated in different fields. Yini engayifunda mhlambe oke wayibona wena ocabanga ukuthi ungangithipha ngayo.
Okay, ileyo futhi iya kuphi kulanto engikhulumile ngithi you have to be versatile. You know, when we started, music was not a business suite. Firstly, we were not business minded. We were not looking for money. Uguti is an investor and it's business. No, that is why singers lutho nge business. And it was a passion and a calling. Nje. And that helped a lot of people who were business minded, because that's how they managed to screw us up. Because we didn't know anything. Ukuthi khona ama royalties, ukuthi khona ama copyright, ukuthi kukhona we knew nothing about that. And we didn't even worry about not knowing anything about that. And at that, yazi a leader ukuthi abantu abaningi babe nama managers. Okay. It worked for other people, and abanye it didn't work. Khona manje a lot of our old artists basenkingeni ngama manager abascrewile up abadlele imali. Even known artists, international artists.
Yes.
It happens even now, even abroad, you know, because an artist is not a business person. Now, these people who are supposed to look after this business, they mess us up. Because I'm concentrating on this thing, on this talent. I've got the love for this thing. I love the communication. I love just standing there and singing for you. I love seeing you happy. I love seeing you crying. You know, that's who we are.
Yes.
That's who we are. And then people, but they drag us down for that. They want to destroy us, to finish us. So how stupid. Because if he destroys me.
Yeah, and a law
this manager, if he destroys me and kills me and wraps me up, what's going to happen to him tomorrow? You know, short-sighted. I got a clue. And ngiyabonga ukuthi this is happening. Unfortunately, Sis Dolly, Sizenzi, Dorothy, Sophie, Tandy, and all of you guys, thank you. I'm standing on your shoulders. I know I am here, still here, because you want me to be here. At least leave the last words. Eningazange nikhona ukusikhuluma. Ngiyabonga. Ngiyazi ukuthi, you know, most of them bahamba ngenhliziyo ezibuhlungu. Especially uMiriam. uMiriam waya ku-exile. Azange ahambe waya ku-exile. Wahamba because kukhona movie, Come Back Africa, a documentary that was being shot by some German company. Ngama politics, apartheid in South Africa. And when they were here in South Africa, we were asked, Miriam Nama Skylarks, to sing gulo documentary le.
Yeah.
And when the documentary was launched in America, they invited her to come. That is how she went to America. Not to go to amabhuna mqosho, no. Bakahle, bamnike passport, bam-invite wahamba. Mayifika lapha wamosha nje ngoku-addressa United Nations. Miriam was the first one to be face to face with the United Nations and tell them ngomlomo wakhe of what was happening in South Africa.
Yes.
A musician, a singer. And And that time, Utatu Mandela, Utatu Sisulu, and all of them were locked up at Robben Island. Utata, when I went to see him after his release, Lape Orlando West, because his house was not far, it is not far from my house. I found him sitting under a tree, and they told him that, was this Abigail born? And then I walked into, Abigail, you guys, you know, your music kept us alive in prison. Oh, Dada said, yes, it did. It gave us hope because you kept the struggle going. You sang about what we were talking about. And your message went faster than ours because you could bring people together.
Yeah.
With your music. We struggled because we had to sneak in, you know, go to the press and let them buy newspapers. Some people don't read newspapers. But you guys, people went to your shows to go enjoy and enjoy. And there you were, singing about the situation. And it got to them quicker than our message. I said, that's an honor. It's an honor to hear that from you. And then he started asking me about Miriam, about Dolly, about Dora, the memory of that man. I said, Tata, you still remember all those people? He said, you know what, Abby? The mistake that the boys made was to lock me up. They thought they were killing me. No. They helped me to sit in there and think. I had time to think and plan. And then I said, Amandla Tata. He said, Amandla Mtanam. Oh, it was such a moment that I'll cherish all my life. You know? Uguthi kanti, never mind, sasingenamali sasihlupeka. Kodwa spiritually, we were very rich. I am now rich. I've no bank balance. Always nama debit order yama I bounce.
Yo,
because it's hand to mouth.
Yeah, boy,
But
yeah,
it's
boy,
okay. It's okay. I am living a life that I'm enjoying, that I chose to live.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm happy. Even if I'm not happy, if you are happy, then I'm happy. So, who cares?
But Ma, do you ever think about that? I mean, just little conversation got to unayo no data about really the political work that was done. Do you ever sit back and think to yourself, wow, we were actually part of watershed moments in this country? When they were locked up, they were not able to have that kind of movement. But you're actually not only a singer, you're not only a songwriter, you're not only an actress, you're an activist as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, and to be recognized as exactly that. And I think it also then speaks to the power of music and the ability it has to reach people's souls. Njengoba ubusho as well ukuthi benhlangane nonke ngicula nihlanganisa abantu, and you'd have these ideologies ebeni share nabo from that particular thing, you know. I think it's so powerful, and I think nathi njengabantu abasha is something we have really learned from you guys, and we're taking it in our stride.
Do that, my baby.
To exist not just as people that look nice and come to spaces and occupy spaces, but people that effect change. And into esifunde kunina ukuthi shintsha la ukhona, shintsha izimo zabantu, inhliziyo zabantu, people's souls, people's ideas about themselves. Because if Abigail can sing about impumelelo yabantu, kusho ukuthi abantu, they'll feel like yazi saphumelela njengabantu. And I think that work continues to be beautiful and to exist, you know. And we'll just try and find more business-savvy ways to make that happen. Because we've seen the lessons that have been learned. Nathi slogan siyafunda ukuthi hey, we don't sign any kind of contract. We look into what the spaces and the teams that we create around our brands and our images. What are those spaces? What are those teams? Do people have the right interests? Are they coming in ngomoya alright? Mabesebenzelana nalento esiyenzayo. You know, because music is a spiritual thing is so entirely true. Oh, yes, and that's why people like you have been able to impact us generation and generation and generation and generation. Ngoba into esegazini, imimoya yabantu.
Nje.
It's not just indlebe zabantu, imimoya yabantu.
Uyazi ngiye kaningi overseas. And uma ngifika lapha ngenza ama master classes. You know, ema varsity akhona. And igcwale itheater yasesikolweni. Ama students. And university is, you know, abantu sebadala, you know. And they would sit and you could hear a pin drop. Because wanting to know the history of music yet, the journey that we traveled, all the things that happened in South Africa then. And hey, I would stand there and tell them the whole history, give it to them, but deep down, no, man, I don't think I like this. I'm educating these kids, telling them about our history in South Africa, our musical history, and our political history. And my children at home don't know it. One day, these guys are going to be writing books about what I am telling them now. And they are going to sell them to my kids at home. So the kids at home are going to be reading about themselves by those people.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. But again, what do? I'm getting paid, so thank you. Well, but you know, it's like I'm selling out. But please, God, give us an awakening call at home, or our leaders an awakening call one day. And indeed, it's happening now. Oh, it's happening now. Siyabonga, the Minister of Arts and Culture, umthethwa umfana wami, indodana yami, is doing his best, and the people around him. The government, in fact, I recognize that much. They are aware of the mistakes. Ziningi kabi ama mistakes. Enzeka, amaphutha enzeka then. Maningi, and they cannot be corrected overnight.
This is true, man.
We just have to be patient and help. We mustn't sit back and say, okay, what is the government doing about this? What are you doing for your country?
Sebenza
Sonke. Lento is affecting us all, and lento le ifuna tina sonke. And that is what must happen.
Yeah,
and it's going to happen. There is hope. We are saying, sometimes among say kaya ngivulela ama radio. And to be honest, really, music engizwayo these days. In a secret, in Ubuntu, in umlaez. I have to be honest and congratulate ngempela. Yazi into mayinhle isho ukuthi yinhle. Ungalokuthi ayikubi konke. Kuke kwaba kubi. Kodwa manje kuyakhona ukushintsha kukhona. That's why ngithi nakukhanya lapha yana. Kuyakhanya. Kufuneka nje ukuthi siphakame siqine and have confidence in ourselves. We still don't have confidence ngani ngoba imali mntanami. Imali ayikakabi kahle for thina. So we're still on empty stomachs. And the empty stomach ayinamandla. You don't have an empty stomach that has no strength.
Yeah.
So that is the only thing that is still pulling us back. The government get that right? With our full stomachs, man. Bazobona umhlolo. We 11 cultures. 11. Cabanga the music. We should get 11 kinds of music.
Yes.
And it's a challenge. Sloga city siyahlupheka. The government must just realize ukuthi na igolide lethu. The gold is not in those mountains and those mines.
Yes.
Okay, ikhona lapha, but there's more gold in us.
Absolutely. Man.
Culture. culture is the wealth of a country, any country.
Absolutely.
AMP Studios brought to you by Old Mutual.
Making a nyugu these days, go rough. Just ask that guy. So that's why you need Old Mutual rewards. They're lifing. See, these guys actually reward you for being clever and nyuki yakho. Anybody can join, and it's free. It's my son's birthday tomorrow. So let's earn some points. Now turn my points into cash, and they send a voucher. Then just shop, show, and scan.
The time is now. Sign up for free to Old Mutual Rewards today.
AMP Studios brought to you by Old Mutual.
Welcome back to the show. Hopefully you're enjoying the conversation as much as I am. It's all brought to you by Old Mutual. And by the way, it's time to check out that unforgettable performance I was telling you about. This is really, really special. I really love it. And I hope you enjoy it as well. This has been Amped Hero Icon Conversations. And yeah, man, it's been awesome. My name is MacG. Thank you so much for tuning in. And like I always say to all podcasters out there, if you're an up-and-coming musician, if you're a YouTuber and you need world-class facilities, this is the place to be. We're out at Newtown Junction Mall. That's AMP Studios. Visit ampstudios.co.za for more information. If you also want to check out more interviews like this as well, make sure you check out ampstudios.co.za. I'm MacG, and I'm out of here. Boom.
Continue strong when
Yeah, mama.
Oh, good to know that. Laguchona. Shut up a day.
Oh, la do do be, la do do papu be.
Tandy Clausen used to do that. Thank you, Zoë Modiga.
Oh, Mom, Abigail Kubeka, siyakutanda.
Zoe, thank you. Yo.
Lagu Pumi.
Yes.
has changed. How it makes us feel never will. The time is now to visit ampstudios.co.za.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm also Sam.
Meet my little Sam. Only the best for my son.
Sam! I'm Sam! This is Sam, live.
I'm Sam.
No two people are the same, so why should their cover be? New personal cover from Old Mutual lets you build the cover that's right for you and your budget. And it's easy to change as your life does too. The time is now to get personal cover that's just for you. Speak to your financial advisor today.